Look at me, y'all, feeding the hungry, you know. Get a picture of that. She said, son, if nobody else knows, God knows. So that's who I am. I'm tough on the outside, but I'm tender on the inside. So thank y'all for coming by. Thank y'all.
Y'all didn't know y'all was gonna get that service today. Yes, indeed.
All right, I'm ready now.
Okay. Listen, you are a true icon of positivity.
Hold it.
Has there ever been a challenge that you really thought that might have been a little too big for your determination? Come on now.
I'm gonna stand up.
Yeah.
Because this is important, you know, because when I speak, I want to inspire somebody.
Come on now.
I want to give somebody hope, because somebody is going through something.
Yes, sir.
You know, and I tell people say, don't tell everybody your dreams. Because people are dream killers. Sometimes your dream is bigger than theirs, and they don't like that. I remember, see where we lived there, we lived on 40th and State Street, and I would look downtown of Chicago, and I would see Lake Point Tower, Marina City. I said, wow, one of these days I'm gonna be down there. And I would tell my buddies, I said, man, I'm gonna move down there. You ain't going nowhere. I remember I told people when Rocky called me.
Come on.
See, I'm speeding up a little bit my story.
That's all right.
But that's where I jump around. I'm a son of a preacher, you know, but before you leave, you're gonna have the message, you know. It might not be in this step, but you're gonna say, man, I didn't know that about Mr. T. I'm glad he did, you know. And this way I keep people awoke. You know, I'll be watching and seeing if somebody falling asleep, you know. And then if you fall asleep, if I catch you falling asleep, I'll say, I pity you, fool. You know? Yeah, so anyway, back to my story. So I used to be a bouncer. You know what bouncer, at the disco and stuff like that.
That's right.
So then the NBC had this contest. It was called the toughest bouncer in America. And I told them I would enter the contest, but I didn't like that name because I'm not a bouncer. Let me tell you what my idea of a bouncer is. A bouncer is the type of guy standing at the door. He really like to put his hand on people. Hey man, this is that. Every once in a while, don't get me wrong, I had to rough some guys up.
Well,
I said, if you come into a place, you don't mess with the ladies' purses while they dance. You don't do this here. You don't be smoking marijuana in the bathroom. You know, you respect the place.
That's right.
And every once in a while, and I made sure people was 21 years old before they got in. Those are house rules, you know, and I did my job well. So anyway, in NBC, they came around and said, we want you to enter the contest. I said, I'll enter the contest, but I have a problem with that name. Because I went to college. I'm not a bouncer. To me, the word bouncer is a literate guy. All he really like to do is just rough up people. I rough up people if you touch me.
Well,
if you don't touch me, you can call me names, sissy, everything, whatever, you know. It don't bother me, because my mother taught me. Back again to my mother.
Come on.
She said, son, it's not what they call you, it's what you respond to.
Well.
Wow.
Mama knows.
So that helped me. Because at first, guy, what you say, fool? So now they can call me stuff. That's not my name. They say, Mr. T. I said, oh, you call me? What you want? And that's how you do it. Because if you call me outside my name, I ain't gonna respond to that. Call me N-word. That's not me. I'm a child of God. That's what I respond to, So anyway, I told the guy, I said, if you give me an opportunity to explain what I think a bouncer is, I'll enter the contest. Because I didn't want to get in the contest and say I'm a bouncer. I'm the educator. I went to college. I know certain things. It's the last thing. Plus, don't like to brag, but I'm trained in the arts of fighting. So I know that's the last thing I want to do is put my hands on somebody.
That's right.
So that's what I said. You can call me there. Hey man, we gonna fight them. I said, you the best. Hey, Mr. T, you ain't so tough. You right. Excuse me. And at the same time, I'll be like begging them. I said, I wish this guy get in me, But anyway, so they allowed me a time to get in the contest to explain to what the bouncer is. So now, During the contest, you might have seen it on the internet or whatever, there were 3 parts of the contest. It was called the bounce, the blast, and the box.
That's right.
So the bounce, you had to throw a stunt man. It wasn't a midget. People were saying we didn't throw a midget. It was a small guy, came in, he weighed 120 pounds, and we had to throw him. And we threw him as far as you could, and you get points. I know it's crazy, but I'm just telling you. And you get points for how far you throw the guy. You know, sort of like a javelin, but it's not, you know. Then, so that was called the bounce, because you're bouncing guys out. Then the blast. Each each contestant had to run around the tables, jump over a bar, then run through a real door.
Oh my goodness.
One guy ran to the door, bang, he got knocked out. People say that door ain't real, see, that door is real. So anyway, so all that, basically what I'm saying, back to humility, about the contest, it was called the toughest bouncer in the world. Humbly, I won that contest 2 years in a row.
That's right.
Humbly, let me explain. And I told my pastor at my church, I'm a member of the church. I've been a member of the same church since 1977.
Come on now.
Because I'm a Christian. So I told a pastor named Pastor Henry Hardy. I said, Pastor Hardy, they are having a contest. And when I win, let me stop right there and explain something to you. See, a lot of you probably say, what do you win? Oh, he sounding cocky now, this and that. There's a verse in the Bible that says, whatsoever man thinketh in his heart, so is he.
Come on now.
So I thought victory for a good cause. I said, Pastor Hardy, they are having a contest. And when I win this contest, I'm going to give you the money so you can buy food and clothes for the less fortunate people in the community.
Yes.
So they asked each contestant, if you win, what you going to do? One guy said, man, if I win, I'm going to buy me a car. Another guy, if I win, I'm going to party with the ladies. Another guy said, if I win, I'm going to do this here. I won because I tell everybody, sure, you had to be a little physical, but I won mostly because my cause, C-A-U-S-E, right. My cause was greater than the other guy's cause. I wanted to win to feed the hungry.
Yes.
I won 2 years in a row. The first year, it was $10,000. The second year, because I was defending champion, it was $15,000.
Come on now.
I won both times, didn't keep a penny, gave it to my church. My blessing came back. My blessing came back in the form of Rocky 3.
Yes.
Because during the telecast of that show, Sylvester Stallone was in Los Angeles, flicking the remote control. Then he saw me. God, he said, that guy's different, and he can talk. So that's how I got. Then they sent me a script, and the casting director called me. She said, wow, congratulations. I said, thank you. She said, do you know Sylvester Stallone? I said, yeah, I watch Rocky 1 and Rocky 2, She said, well, yeah, he want to put you in Rocky 3. I said, well, thank you. Then she said, she's going to send me a script. So she sent me the script. Then I start studying, preparing and whatnot, telling people. I said, hey, man, I'm happy. I'm from the hood. I said, man, they calling me. They want me to do Rocky, man. You ain't going nowhere. You can't act. It's true, I can't act. All my life, I've been for real. This ain't a act. This ain't no act. I don't act. You don't see me doing kissing scenes and whatnot without telling somebody, shut up, fool. I mean, shut up. Cut the crap. I ain't playing. I'm serious. I don't act, And the first when they were doing, they said, well, maybe we should send Mr. T to acting schools. He said, don't touch him because you'll mess him up.
Well,
he said, I want you to be you. I said, I got this now. At first they had the script. They said, we want Clubber Lane to be from Jamaica. So me being smart again. So I went out and bought some Harry Belafonte records, some Jamaican stuff. And we had reggae night. I said, brothers, talk that stuff to me. Then they found out doing it. They said, no. Cut that. We want you to be Mr. T, Clubber Lane from the South Side of Chicago.
Yes.
I said, I got this now. And that's it. I did the audition in October of 1980. And I told him, he said, well, I got to see some other people. I said, whether you hire me or not, thank you for the opportunity. I went home that Friday. He called me back Monday and said, you got the part. So that's how I got here, you know, so I didn't forget that. I'm still feeding the hungry, still going to the hospital, still praying for the children. That's what I do, you know. I didn't forget where I come from, and I am careful. My mother told me that there is an anointing on me.
Yes.
And I must guard and protect that anointing. Because sure, I don't look like the type of guy to be doing what I'm doing. I go to the hospitals and mothers ask me to pray for their babies.
Come on.
And I remember I told my mother, she said, son, that's a calling on you.
Yes.
This mother wouldn't ask you to pray for a baby if she didn't believe that you knew God. That's when my life changed. When a little boy named Ryan, he was dying. Of all the people he could have saw through the Make-A-Wish Foundation, he said, I want to meet Mr. T. They told me about him there. I said, well, bring him to the set, because I thought he was like the other kids. They said, no, Mr. T, he's dying. I said, oh, this is the first time it happened. So the lady said, because I know some actors can't handle it, she said, maybe we'll tell him you're busy. I said, then you'll be lying.
Absolutely.
I'm not busy.
Right.
I said, I got to call home to my pastor. I said, yeah, bring the kid on. So I called to my pastor, the same pastor I gave the money to. I said, Pastor Hardy, there's a kid that's dying. What do I say to him? Already bleeding God. You see, I'm moving to another level now. So the Pastor Hardy prayed with me, said, evidently, T, this kid see the God qualities in you that you don't see in yourself. So he prayed with me, and little Ryan came to the set. I loved on him. He had cystic fibrosis. He had a little oxygen tank with him, and I carried him around. I drove him in the 18 van, and I had a Cadillac then, and I had a phone in my car, so I was hot stuff, you know. There wasn't too many phones back then in your car.
Right.
Man, this guy's bad, Mr. T. He's for real. And I let him call his grandmother in my car phone. Bang, don't mess with me. He said, my grandma, I'm with Mr. T. Now let him play with my jewelry. He said, it's so heavy. It was heavy, Wow, So let him play and smile. And when we were there for about an hour, then he had to leave. Then his mother said, oh, I want to thank you for it. I said, no, you don't have to thank me. I thank God that he called me into his life. Then I hugged him and prayed with him. He left. Then I cried. Tough Mr. T started crying.
Nothing wrong with that.
And I remember when I told my mother, she said, son, that don't make you a wimp because you cried.
Not at all.
You cried because you felt the emotions. Jesus cried.
Well.
So I cried because I'm sensitive. That's who I am. I'm sorry for going off track. That's the God qualities in me. That's because I'll start preaching. You know what I mean?
Come on now.
Listen,
we will find an organ in this place. We will pass a collection plate. Yes, sir, we will. I'm sorry. You said there is no negativity. You said what we needed to hear.
You're right.
That's exactly what we needed. Am I right? All right. Friends, I'm going to invite y'all to join us in this conversation. We got microphones on this side and that side, so feel free. We're going to bounce back and forth.
Yes.
To ask questions. Whichever one is closest to you, that's how we're going to start. Since you guys made it over there first, we're going to start with you. Tell us your name and your question. Hello, friend.
My name is Joe.
Hey, Joe.
I was just curious, do you have any cool behind-the-scenes stories from Rocky 3 that you remember?
Any cool behind-the-scenes stories from Rocky 3 that you can share with us? Here we go. Yes, sir.
Any cool stories? Let me see. The coolest is the audition. Yeah, so he did the program. He told me, so I came in the audition. I was ready. I was pumped. Had the script. He said, how you feel? I said, I feel good. I'm ready. He said, how was the flight? I'm basically wanting to say, don't give me that jibber jabber about the flight, man. I'm here trying to get a job, Trying to say, how was the flight? I said, yeah, it was good. Then he said, want you to know, we'll do it up to 10 times, we'll keep your best one. And this is where I was, I stayed loose like this here, and I was, I said, yeah, I got it. He said, and really, I felt that he really wanted me, but it was the producers. Because I was unknown, because they had already had auditioned some well-known actors, but they didn't have it, So, but Rocky wanted me because later on he told me, because my story mirrored his.
Yes.
You know, he was from nobody, they threw him aside, me from Chicago with nobody, or he from the projects, he ain't gonna make it, you know. So he told me, so when he was talking to me, I felt like he said, yeah, man, you know, them guys over there, the producers, they wanted somebody. He didn't say that, but I felt that he was saying, you know, he's all right. He said, oh, good luck now. It's all right, thanks, you know. So he did 10 pages. He said, you want to look at the script? I said, already studied. So I'm ready. Then he did the part, so the girl did his part. She said, yeah. Then I did my part. Boom, boom. He said, wow. He said, we'll do a couple more. And I did some more. They was really impressed that I wasn't looking at, and you know, I studied. I told him I studied, you know. I said, I don't want to look at it. I studied already. Then we did that. Then he said, we're gonna do something what he call improvisation. A lot of actors can do, a lot of them can't. He said, pretend I'm in the movie and I won't fight you. He said, you can curse at me and whatever. I said, okay. Then I thought for a second. I said, boom. And what? That was a quick second. I'm ready. I said, I'm ready, Rocky. Then he said, okay. I said, hey, Rocky, you just like the other white fighters. You get your title, don't want to fight no brother. I'm tired of waiting. I don't need no contract. Then I grabbed him, told him. He said, beautiful, 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 beautiful. And then he said, wow, that was good. Then he said, I want you to do one more thing. He said, I want you to look into this camera. Tell me why you want this part. Another quick second. Hey, I'm ready. He said, action. I said, this character Clubber Lang. I've been Clubber Lang all my life. Come on. It's like hot coals burning inside of me. He says, cut, stop. I said, I got some more. He said, stop. Definitely said, he said, you know, I got to see some other people. I said, it's all right, I understand. I said, whether you pick me or not, I'm honored that you consider me. Boom, thanked him. That was on a Friday. Flew home. Lady called me Monday morning. She said, guess what? You got the part. I said, you tell Rocky. I said, you tell him that I'm gonna do my very best. Never let him down because they took a chance with me.
Yes.
This is $1 million movie and stuff. They taking a chance with me. I'm top lead. At first, the character Clubber Lang wasn't supposed to have too many lines. Then after I got it, they started changing things. He said, let Mr. T be Mr. T. He said, I want you to change the script. If you see a part that don't work for you whatever. Then I said, well, truthfully, this scene I wouldn't work. Now, it's a scene that my mother didn't like because you need to know about my mother. So we did, you remember in the movie when I'm trying to get Rocky to fight me, we had the steps. He was getting this trophy. I bust through the thing. Hey, bad boy, you bum. Did him the thing, try to make him, lure him in to fight me. I said, jump this and that. So he didn't want to see it. Then I said, hey, woman. I bet you stay up late every night dreaming you're a real man, don't you? Yeah. I tell you what, bring your pretty little self to my apartment. I'll show you a real man. Well, it worked in the movies. Because I got in his head, you know, I provoked him to fight me. But after did the movie, so we had a private screening for the movie for my mother and my family in Chicago. Now one night I said, wow. I said, boy, I worry about my mother. I said, wow. I said, she might not like it because, you know, there's cursing in it. You know, Carl Weathers curses. That's right. This bomb will knock you on your, you know. And I was gonna be like an ordinary kid and say, hey, Mom, I didn't curse, he did. You know, which you did, but that wasn't it. She's white. So after the movie, I had my mother coat because I wanted her approval. My nephew started crying. I said, shut up, fool, they pay me a lot of money. I'm crying, man. That ain't nothing, you know. Hey, you know, so I had my mother coat. I wanted to put it on her. And like she was like here, and I can't think how to put her coat and she turned. Wow, here's the coat again, she turned again. Then my sister took the coat out my hand and put it on my mother. And then my mother said, she didn't look at me. Like this is my mother right here, and I'm looking at my mother. She said, son, you don't say that to a lady. Yeah. That was important. They taught me, she would remind me. She said, son, there are some things that money just can't buy. Well, basically saying, don't get lost in the money and you forget about God and you forget about morals. Don't give me that stuff they get paying you a lot of money. I didn't say that about the money stuff. I said, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That's right.
So that let me know there could have been other words I could have used in other stuff. So that's what I'm saying. That I let my mother tell me, say, you're right. That kept me together. Kept me, okay, you did Rocky, now don't forget don't forget God. Okay, now you get money on the A team, don't forget God. Because I've seen a lot of people come and go, and they forgot God. They forgot. All right.
Great question. Great question. We're going to go on this side. Hello, friend. What's your name? What's your question?
My name is Thomas. I've been a big fan of the A-Team, especially B.A. Baracus.
That's right.
My question for you, Mr. T, is that there are many stunts from the show that were too tough, but were there some that you felt like you could have made or you wanted to do?
Nah. Mr. T have no ego problem. I had a stunt man. I said, bring him in. Bring him in.
Everybody got to work.
It was a little stunt because I said, let him have it. Let him have it, you know. I have no ego problem. I tell you in a minute. No, I did. And my stunt man taught me how to take punches and whatever. Even for Rocky, he taught me how to move a neck, take a punch and whatever, you know. I said, bring him in. That's what he get paid for, you know. So, yeah. So I didn't, yeah. Thank you, though. Yes.
Great question. Great question.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello, my name is Justin.
Hey, Justin.
So, kind of a two-part question.
Uh-oh.
So, you were in WrestleMania 1, WrestleMania 2.
That's right.
How do you feel about how wrestling is nowadays? And did you ever expect it to be this big of a part of the culture in today's world?
That's a great question.
Nah, it didn't change because of me. You know, I had an important part in it, you know what I mean? And see what it been, when they called me, when Vince McMahon came to talk to me about getting with it, you know, and I found out, I said, man, it's not like nothing I did in high school. It's a different type of stuff here, you know, so, but it was fun, it was challenging, and I guess the hard part, you know, that I found out a little later, you know, at first the guys had a problem with us accepting me because wrestlers, they came up hard.
Right.
It's a hard grind. So some of them at first thought that I had it easy coming in. So trying to explain to them when they invited me to help them, I brought the light on wrestling. So the hardcore guys didn't understand that. So they had to say, man, you coming in, let them in. No, I said, no, I ain't had it easy. Don't think for no moment. So, you know, so backstage, so we had some serious talk with the wrestlers because maybe they thought because I was on TV, I was a little mushy, you know. But no, it's a lot different, you know, and I have so much respect for the wrestlers for what they do. They live a hard life.
Yes,
they wrestle 365 days a year.
That's right.
Wow, you wrestle in Orlando tonight, you wrestle in Miami tomorrow, then you over here, and then every night. Like, sure, some parts might be a little, you know, fake and whatever, but jumping off the top rope, that ain't fake.
Come on.
You know, that ain't fake.
That's right.
That takes a toll on you after a while. And you see the guys can hardly move, and I felt so tight. They don't have a pension. You see what I mean?
Right.
They don't get residuals and all this stuff or whatnot. It's the hard work. I respect them. And I told them, I said, I'm gonna work hard, let you know, and it's a hard life, and I have much respect for them, you know, so it's different now, you know, so thank you, though. Thank you.
Great question. Hello.
Hi, my name is Eternal Zan, and you've already said your famous catchphrase, and I was wondering if you have a favorite phrase or quote by somebody else, whether it's something from the Bible or a favorite movie or show.
Oh, me?
Yeah, something that someone
from the Bible,
else said.
Of course from the Bible. See, people ask, and my favorite scripture is the 51st Psalm.
Okay.
See, let me explain it for you. It's what David, after he had this relationship with Bathsheba, after he had her husband killed, then the prophet Jonathan had came to David and told David, he said, David, he used a little analogy, a little trickery. He said, David, what would you do if a man came with you, we had 2 or 3 little lambs, and then another guy had a lot of lambs, and he wanted to take this guy's little wee lambs. What should be happening to that guy? And David said, death to any man that do something like that. prophet said, David, you are that man. So then David said in the 51st Psalm, have mercy upon me, O God, according to thy loving kindness, according unto the multitudes of thy tender mercies. Blot out my transgressions. Wash me thoroughly from my iniquities and cleanse me from my sin. For I acknowledge my transgression, and my sins is ever before me. Against thee and thee only have I sinned and done this evil in thy sight. So that's a prayer for people when you want to come back to God. Don't try to say, well, admit, say, Lord, forgive me. I was wrong. Forgive me. Ask for forgiveness. Seek God. So that's my favorite song. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello.
How you doing? My name is Raul. My wife Yvette right here. She's
Raul.
a big fan too.
Oh, God bless y'all.
Yes.
We just visited DC for the first time.
Come on now.
We went to the Museum of the Bible, and it was great. And of course, we're big fans of DC Cab.
Oh man, the best.
Share with
The
DC
best.
Cab or how God led you to that role. Anything you want to share would be great.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's a great movie.
Huh?
That is a great movie. DC Cab is a fantastic.
It was fun. We was a bunch of misfits. yes, it was fun, but it came together, So, yeah, it's No, wow. I look back on my career and see things happening, and people have said, so, wow, you lucky, this and that. I said, no, I'm blessed by God.
Come on now. Come on
That's
now.
what it is.
Come on.
My prayer, I get up in the morning, I say, Lord, bless me.
Yes.
So I could be a blessing to others.
There it is.
I never say, Lord, let me get that movie. I want to make a lot of money and this and that. I just want to do God's will.
Yes.
I want to give somebody hope. Because somebody is going through something.
Come on.
That's why I tell my story. I'm not ashamed of where I come from. It's where you're going. There's a lot of people on welfare now going through stuff. I want them to know you don't have to rob nobody.
Well.
Keep believing in God. God will pull you through. He won't leave you. I'm a living witness.
Yes.
I could have quit. It's easy to quit. But don't believe. All the Bible's talk about believing and trust and faith. And that's what it's all about. Do you have faith? Can I get out of this here? Everybody around saying I can't make it. Should I quit? This and that. No, I'm going to believe my mother. Remember, I would come home as a little boy and I would see my mother and father praying in the middle of the room. Praying. Wow. Sometimes we leave, didn't have no food. Then I come back, mother got a little food from somebody loaned her something or the church brought a basket by.
That's right.
So now I thank God that I can give food to churches and don't grandstand. Then I ride off. I remember one time I took some down to the mission in Los Angeles. Matter of fact, when I got the part in Rocky, my pastor Hardy told me, he said, Brother T, while you out there, find a place that you can minister to.
Come on.
So I got connected to the Midnight Mission. I like that name, the Midnight Mission, because it was at midnight when Paul and Silas prayed. Wow, I'll start preaching here. I'll start preaching.
Come on now.
You see? So then I was there and I would go back all the time and I would love on the people. I would love them. And back there in Hollywood, they would invite this celebrities, say, why don't you come out for Thanksgiving? I said, no, I don't want to be around them other celebrities and whatnot because they don't want to touch the people. And that insults me. These people need love.
Yes.
But they come down there on Thanksgiving and Christmas and they just, here you go right here. The people can't touch them. They just put a little in the food, okay, and the line keep moving. No celebrity step down and say, let me hug you, let me help you.
Come on.
But no, we doing that for the photo op. We got our camera guy to get a picture of us. Look at me feeding the hungry. You ain't feeding them. Are you touching them?
Come on. Come
So
on.
the guy had asked me, he said, why don't you come down? I said, no, I don't do like that. I said, I touch people. Jesus touched them.
Yes, right.
Jesus talked to the prostitute, the lepers and whatnot. So I'm not better than him. So I want to come down there. One of the greatest compliments I had because I started coming down there and just seeing them and hugging them and loving on them. And when the brothers got up, he said, got up, He said, Mr. T, I don't want an autograph. I don't want no money. I just want to thank you for not forgetting us.
Yes.
He started crying and I started crying. I said, I'll never forget you. That's who I am, and I hug him. I don't say, ooh, they dirty. Ooh, they might have this here. I hug him and touch him and say, God bless you. I love you. That's why I'm here, and I'll be back. And I'm drying my eyes and getting to my car. It happened again. I was down there, you know, and they were telling the people, say, don't bother. I said, no, let the lady come, because I thought about Jesus. The lady said, ooh, she had a baby. She said, I want to tell Mr. T, and I was there to write out a donation, and I said, look, don't disrespect that lady like that. I want to see her. I said, I'll see you in a minute. Then after I made the donation, I came out and hugged her and the baby. She said, Mr. T, we want to thank you for coming down to see us. And I said, oh, it's okay. And I hugged her. Then I started getting emotional. You know, I said, I better get to going to my car. Then she rounded up the other people, said, come on, let's pray for Mr. T. And I said, no, you don't have to. You know, I said, no, I'm all right. She's in there. Then they surrounded me. Then they put their hands on me and started praying.
Yes, sir.
And tough Mr. T, black belt, karate, all that stuff. I started crying. And I remember I told my mother again, I said, Mother, I got emotional. I started crying. Then she told me again, that don't make you a wimp, because you cried. And she reminded me how Jesus cried when he brought Lazarus back. Cried, and I would cry sometime when I leave the hospital, when I see sick kids, and I'm driving home, and a lot of them, they in wheelchairs, and I said, wow, and I wish that I could, like magic, when I wave a hand, they would get better. But then the doctor would tell me sometime, he said, I want you to know, Mr. T, that visit by people like you sometimes is better than the medicine.
Well,
it gives the people hope.
Come on now.
It let them know they're not forgotten.
Yes, sir.
So keep coming. I said, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's why I go. That's what I do. Crying and all. I'm not ashamed. I don't try to hold it back. When the tears come, I just let them come.
That's right. That's right.
Like I told them here, I said, they asked me, the press earlier said, what do you get out of meeting the people? I said, it's humbling and it's special with me because I hear so many stories. I don't know if some of you know that I'm a cancer survivor.
Come on now.
And I remember, no, give the glory to God. Because I think when I would, before the end, working with the Make-A-Wish Foundation and the Starlight Foundation, I would love on the kids. And I remember one day on the set, they had 6 little children there to see me. Some in wheelchairs, some with different problems. And I'm loving on them and doing things, try to bring joy. I'm flipping, I bring Murdoch over. Come over here, Murdoch. You know, we do an act and they laugh and, you know, and I see them smile and I say, wow. Then I go in my trailer and I will cry. I say, thank you, God, for using me to bring smile to their face.
Yes, indeed.
So now we speed up, and I remember I would tell the little kids with cancer, that God love them and don't give up. So now in 1995, Mr. T is diagnosed with T-cell lymphoma.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that.
So, and I tell people, if I couldn't call on that same God I told the kids about, if I couldn't call on that same God that I stood in pulpits and preached about, that meant that I was a liar and I was a phony.
Come on now.
So I called on the God that I told him to believe in. I said, God, give me the strength to do your will. I didn't say, why me, God? Why not me? This allows me a testimony. So when I speak to somebody that's just been diagnosed, I can hug them and they know my story and they can hear me and I tell them, don't quit, don't give up. They say, okay, Mr. T, I won't quit. When I can tell them about being on welfare, don't quit.
That's right.
I remember my mother would catch the bus and go to the welfare station in the winter times in Chicago to come back with a bag of powdered milk, powdered eggs.
That's right.
And I remember that. So we made it through. Sure, a lot of times we didn't have 3 meals a day, but we wasn't deformed. We didn't grow up weird. Like I said, I didn't have toys at Christmas, but my mother, she loved me.
That's right.
Had old raggedy coat. But because my mother loved me, I was warm.
Yes.
I said, I can make it.
That's right.
Had holes in my shoes, but my mother, she loved me.
That's right.
I would tell people, I say, wow, don't go against my mother, because I would visualize if I was with the gang guys, I would visualize one day we'll get caught. And I would visualize my mother coming to see me with her old raggedy coat on. I would visualize my mother crying, saying, son, why did you? I did the best I could with what I had. Then right then, I would felt that I would dishonor my mother. I disrespected her. Like I said, we was poor financially, but we was rich spiritually.
Come on now. That's right.
Oh, she would tell me just to hold out. She said, God will make a way.
Yes, sir.
And he did.
Yes, sir.
He did. God has blessed me so I can be a blessing to others.
Yes.
And that's why I'm here. Not just to pick up money. I want to touch somebody.
That's right.
Meet certain fans, and they tell me their story. Say, Mr. T, would you pray for me? And I had to tell the producers here the way I operate. I'm not one of them celebrities that sign stuff that's trying to get a lot of volume and never look at nobody, because I heard fans say, I've been to they don't even look at you. You just sign up. I said, that won't happen with me.
That's right.
I want to hug each person and let them know I love you and thank you for coming to see me. Thank you for waiting to see me.
Y'all.
I want you to feel the love.
That's right. That's right.
That when you leave,
right.
that Mr. T was sincere. That I try to give hope to somebody.
Absolutely.
So I asked God in my prayer, I said, Lord, touch me. Give me the right words to say to somebody. Let them feel what I bring.
Yes, sir.
So I thank y'all for coming. I thank y'all.
The enemy of these conversations is always time, and unfortunately we have reached ours. However, there is another panel with Mr. T tomorrow. I invite you all, if you guys are still in line, come to that panel tomorrow or see him at the show throughout the rest of this weekend and actually get your chance to speak with him. Guys, thank y'all so very much.
I apologize.
No,
I apologize.
never.
Thank y'all. I apologize.
What we needed. Ladies and gentlemen, join me one more time in celebrating Mr. T. Thank you, guys.